Hey everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of the Division First Impressions video. This time we're focusing more on the Darkzone, the PvP, and mixed with the PVE version of the Division. And again with the beta, it's a lot of the same thing. I'm gonna try to not rehash the same things I said in the last video, but unfortunately a lot of the things come up. So the first big thing, that kind of issue that I had with the entrance of the Darkzone is you get there, it's a mission to find there, but once you're really in there, it doesn't really lead you or really do a great job explaining what it is you're exactly supposed to be doing. Now, yeah, say I'm a noob, this, that, or the other thing, but anyone who should be hopping into this game for their first time, and this was the first time I played, I didn't have the chance of playing the closed beta, but I just had no idea what I was doing, and I just happened to roll up on these guys, and at the time I didn't even know what rogue was, what was the difference between all that. So this was my first encounter in the Darkzone, and this is actually really fun. I really enjoyed this portion of the Darkzone. You know, getting in, playing against some of the other player enemies as opposed to playing against the computer for the majority of the main story. Because as has been mentioned before in the other video, the computer enemies can get boring at times. And with a little bit of the variety of the players, it is a little bit more interesting. But so here you have what's the extraction zone. So basically, you just come here. You need to have loot, and I didn't even realize that when I first got here. But you have to have loot before you can even do anything, because this is the only way you can get what you've got here and take it outside of the extraction zone, which I think is a cool idea. And it does add a level of like. I'm trying to think of the best way, like Ark or Rust, where you find your loot, and if you get killed, you can lose it, and you can kill others and take their loot. But you're not gonna lose anything that you already have on you. So that's a great advancement to that system. The only thing I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that these extractions can only fit so many slots at a time. I believe it's 6. So if there's more than that, I think you're kind of strapped, and that's when you're really gonna have to watch your back. And it's kind of a win-lose situation in my book. It's great for the people who want to experience that, but if you're really just trying to get in there, get some loot, maybe find some upgrades, and you just happen to find one, but you can't get it out. Now you're holding on to that, and you're playing defense, which again in my book's not a huge problem. A lot of people don't like this kind of online play, but I really don't mind it. It keeps you on your feet, it keeps you aware. But yeah, it can definitely get, I can see how it could get a little frustrating with that, because usually what happens with these extraction zones, the things that I don't like, is you sit here and you do nothing, and you wait and you wait and you wait, and as you can see here, most of the dark zone is empty like the regular game. Just no enemies in sight until you run into these little mobs. But you just wait at these extraction zones, wait for the waves of enemy to come, wipe them out, and usually people start getting bored, and especially if they don't get their items onto the helicopter, you're more than likely in trouble, and you're going to end up getting killed. And again, for me personally, it's not a huge deal. If you get killed, just go back, find some more loot. But I could see if you found a legendary, you found something really great, and you weren't able to get it on, you get killed, and some guy jacks you for it. It's just going to be a back and forth trying to get it back. And once you get hit with being rogue, basically everyone there is on your tail. So you're in a big problem there. So the best way to play this, what it seems like, is they want you to play with your friends, which is, again, it's a great game to play with your friends. But if you're just trying to hop on there, maybe play casually for a couple of minutes, hop on there, see what's going on for the day in the division, or maybe you just don't have a lot of people that are playing on the same system that you have for whatever reason, you're gonna be pretty frustrated with trying to get on there, because if you go rogue, if you guys all decide to go rogue at once as a team, you're fine. But if you accidentally shoot someone, as you see later, you end up rogue, and then you're basically then surrounded by like the other 15 people that are usually waiting at the extraction zones. And there's only so many extraction zones in the game, so I think there was I found 3, and one of them I found, and it was newly discovered. I'm not really sure how it works, but we'll see how it goes in the once it hits. And again, one of the big things I hit on in the main story version part of this game is that you end up running in this game, and it just feels dead in here. I mean, I know it's called the Darkzone for a reason, but there's literally no enemies. It's very weird. It's like, for me, in my opinion, it's a little bit too MMORPG-ish for this type of game, because basically you run around and you run into these mobs of guys that I would assume at some point are going to have some type of like quest line or thing you're going to have to do, kind of like a WoW. Like, you need to collect these from these enemies or this, that, and the other. So you run into these mobs in this little area. They're protecting like a little house or apartment, something, and that those usually have something in it, one of the chests or the boxes or something like that. But once you do that, they wipe, and then you have to wait for them to respawn. So it's kind of just running around and either waiting at these extraction points or going around and trying to find those mobs, or trying to run through apartments and find loot. And that's really it so far for the Darkzone. So if you're expecting to hop on there and find like a death match or capture the flag or, you know, a extraction point hold, I mean, at the current time, it's not in the game. I'm not saying that, you know, it hasn't been announced that it will be or won't be in the game. I mean, I could see them definitely doing something like that in the future, so keep an eye out for that. But as it's currently constituted, it's a lot of wait and see and the duck in the cover, and, you know, that's really all that it is so far. So if you're expecting to go on there and see, you know, deathmatch or anything like that, that's not what you're going to find. Now, the computer enemies on in the Darkzone, they're a little bit more difficult. They obviously added some life and a little bit of shielding to them. So they're a little bit more difficult to take down, you know, as if you were playing an instance in World of Warcraft. The enemies are obviously harder, so you can't take them necessarily down by yourself. So you're definitely going to need some other people to help you if you want to clear out some of those mobs, or you're just going to have to be really ballsy and really strategical about how you're going to go about dissecting those. So this is a good example of like the action in the game. I really did enjoy these parts of it. I thought it was pretty interesting, you know, running and ducking and, you know, keeping your eyes open for someone who might have gone rogue and decided to take someone else's loot. And now you're trying to fight the computers and the player enemies. It's just an interesting dynamic. So that is definitely some of the positives that I saw in this part of the Darkzone. But as you saw it here, I think I accidentally shot somebody. And this was the first example of, you know, you just ending up getting swarmed. I really didn't understand what happened at this point. Or, you know what, this wasn't even it. This is just the guy just decided to turn on me and wipe you out. And you get, the weird thing in this is that you get an option to hold B to give up, or you can just sit there and wait for respawn. And 9 times out of 10 so far in this one, no one wants to respawn you. Now, the reason why I hopped over to this extraction point, because this was a pretty interesting one. So you're on the roof here, and there's all these other surrounding buildings here. And as you just saw there, a grenade just got hucked, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going on there. Where was it come? I eventually figured out that it was another player. You know, there was somewhere perched up there where I couldn't find them or couldn't see them, but they knew where they were trying to get at, and they were just bombing us, and they wanted to wipe us and then come in and take our loot. And that's to me probably one of the difficult things to mitigate in this game and try to figure out what you want to do, because if you get too many people huddled around these extraction points, people are just going to pick you off as a team. They're just going to throw those bombs and throw the grenades or the different specials they have in the center, and you're going to get wiped out. And there's really nothing you can do about it. You got to be really strategical. And as you can see here, a couple of these guys end up going rogue right as I think the helicopter just came. And I end up, as I'm trying to shoot him, I accidentally shoot him. I mean, not even on purpose, and then you end up going rogue. Now, I don't have, again, a huge problem with this, but the thing is I didn't necessarily mean to do that. And now, again, I'm the bane of everyone's existence here, and I obviously get killed. And then you get a chance that you can get revived, and then now I got to wait 30 seconds so because I accidentally killed someone. I mean, that's a little, in my book, it's a little ridiculous. But I can understand it. But again, it's just one of those odd dynamics that I wasn't a huge fan of. And I think, again, I ended up doing it again somewhere around here, and it was frustrating because you'll know this game, the guns aren't super accurate, and they're hard to rein in, or they're hard to get used to at first. And I'm not the best at it, so, you know, accidentally killing some of my or even not even killing, but just tapping some of my teammates as I was trying to kill the enemy earned me a rogue status, and it was pretty frustrating to end up in the rogue section of the game, and then, you know, having to evade everybody, or, you know, wait 30 seconds or 35 seconds or whatever it is. In my book, it should be a system of, in your current session, how many times have you already killed or gone rogue in the game. So say you do it the first time, it should be, I don't know, 5 seconds or the normal respawn maybe. And then as you progress to 2 or 3, then they up it and progressively go more to the point where, you know, you work yourself up to, you know, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, maybe 40 seconds at the most. And then you gotta, you know, play, I guess you could say lawfully or within the bounds of playing with the other players to, you know, to get your time down. But overall, it was a little bit more fun than the mission level. I mean, actually, sorry, it was a lot more fun than the mission part. I can see where the Darkzone has promise. There's a lot more people, other players at least, going on. But once you get to the extraction zones, but outside of the extraction zone, again, it's pretty quiet and there's not a lot to do story-wise, or so far as I've seen. So you kind of got to keep your eye out for the boxes and make sure you have a high enough level to get that and whatnot. So that's kind of what you're looking at in the Darkzone. So I just wanted to show you the side of the Darkzone. Let me know what you think down below. I just wanted to, again, thank you guys for the support so far. Watching the videos, liking the videos, commenting. I love seeing the comments in there. I'll respond to as many as I possibly can. So if you have questions or your own opinions, please feel free to do so below. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, let me know what you think down below. This has been Wereforce, signing out. I'll see you guys next time.